Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Titan Esports NA League. Today we have Ice versus Elysium here. I'm not a Valve Game, joined by Aussie on the mic, and we have, an interesting match here. From what you have told me about the results of these teams, it wasn't exactly what we're hoping for if we're on either of these teams so far in, the division.
Well, I would say that Iceborn White, I think they showed some decent stuff last week, just unable to convert into a match win. That being said, I think this Elysium roster is actually crazy. Just such a Titan team for me. So we'll have to see how Elysium Midnight continue forward going through. I expect that Elysium Midnight should win here, but I think this matchup's a lot closer than what could be expected.
Well, we do have picks and bans ready for you as we transition in. Is there any picks you think that are going to be... we were talking about the potential buffs and changes that have come to League of Legends recently. Any picks that are going to be stand out?
There's a lot of stuff that changed this patch. Obviously, data is still new. Most notable things, right? Senna did receive a nerf. Azir got a pretty big nerf himself. So those champions probably won't be seen as frequently. I know I did watch an Azir game last night in a gold league. Did not look too good, but I don't think that's the fault of the Azir changes. As Gwen banned away, Elysium Midnight, of course, will be losing a ban. They are using a reserve player for themselves here. So, no ban. They'll be able to use, at the very least, 2 bans, but they do lose 1. Yeah, honestly, just the biggest standouts for me, right? Like, Aatrox got buffed again. Already been seen on the last patch professionally. This buff makes him even stronger. Gwen received her 80th nerf in a row. So they're keeping that streak alive. Ornn's going to be the first pick here. I think Ornn has kind of risen a lot in draft stock. Because top laners are kind of more influenced to really chill. But this Mundo pick, Valve, we've seen a lot of things out of the Mundo recently. He's not changed in this patch. He's very, very strong at the current moment.
To me, I feel like, well, now pairing that with the Pantheon can go a couple of different places, but that Mundo, especially into the Ornn, let's just say that Mundo does end up going top. We have a very, Mundo throws Cleaver. Ornn doesn't care. It's kind of just a very neutral matchup, and Ornn really only dies if he messes up. Mundo only really dies if he messes up. And that's kind of just really neutral. At least that's what I think it is. But as we round out this part of the draft, we see the mid-jungle combo, the Xin Zhao and the Ahri picked up for Elysium here. As the Pantheon could go jungle, it could go mid, but the Veigar makes me think otherwise.
Yeah, I think maybe Pantheon probably jungles. I mean, there is still some flexibility that's alive in their draft here. But this Iceborn draft is essentially pretty close to what we would see professionally coming out. Top mid jungle, Prio in the first 3. Same thing for Elysium Midnight here. I really like Vi Ahri together. I will say Midnight do need to try and draft around killing Mundo at some point in their draft, because Ari's not necessarily the best thing at killing it. This Vigar pick is a little interesting. Able to keep people locked into a cage is, I mean, we've seen crazy things come out of the event horizon before. So maybe there's a world where the Vigar can take over, and Varus also getting locked in here. He received a pretty big early game nerf. -3 base armor is pretty big, but still looking to be good because it's Varus. As Lucian, Nami potentially coming out for Midnight here. No Milio available, but Nami will be on the table. It could also be Taric, I guess. Honestly, Taric might not be bad here, though. It will be Thresh. So it's the OG Wife Stealer lane coming in for Midnight here in the bot lane. I'm not sure how I feel about it comparatively, but Leona's going to be the answer back. Will be the Pantheon jungle.
I'm very curious here. You said that the Mundo we need to find a way to draft into killing this Mundo. Does Lucian and then Thresh, like the CC Thresh provides, do that? Or do we have Mundo just going where he pleases?
Well, I guess it just kind of depends. If Midnight, like, they're playing a win harder comp, if they can start winning and keep winning, then Mundo is probably going to be a non-factor, as Mundo kind of needs to scale a little bit. But I'm a bit worried for this Elysium draft. Like, I kind of think they sort of outdrafted themselves just a little bit here, as they have a lot of potential between like the damage, the burst damage they can do. So if they can try to find like a pick angle on like Varus or Vigar maybe, but I feel like the rest of like Iceborn White here is just so unpickable that this like style might not be the best thing to combat the Iceborn White's like comp, unless they can find a crazy like flank like pick or something. I feel like I have to get the edge to Iceborn White here, because I just don't really necessarily like Lucian Thresh as an answer into what Iceborn White drafted. But if they can win, like I said, their comp is all about winning harder, and if they can start winning early and keep accelerating their lead, they will happily take it to the finish line.
I mean, Elysium has a somewhat of a pick comp to my eyes. Like, it's just kind of, you're setting up either Thresh does it or Xin Zhao does it. But we'll see how they set it up as we set you up to go into this next game. Moving you over to the game real quick. But you like I was saying, like this pick comp, right? The other team, Ice, has in a way something akin to a pick comp with that Leona, and the Vigar being able to lock somebody down. But I feel like you were saying they did kind of outdraft themselves, because realistically, you have the pick comp sort of built, but who exactly are you picking? As we see Ornn getting a cleaver right to his head, you're gonna have to pick that one out. A little bit of a back bait here, maybe a little level 1 fight, some poke going back and forth between. The hook is off the mark though. Another cleaver going into the Ornn. Looks like everybody wants to back away. Just some warding going on.
Yeah, just some early game shenanigans, getting some wards down. As nice body block by Duddy to not have Ornn's base canceled there, but he is on a ward, and he's more than happy to sit here on this ward. So overall, nothing really happening in this early game out of that's too unusual, as just some vision wars going on. As overall, I do think, right, like there are times where, like, if you catch out something like Leona, it can be pretty problematic for you. They do have a comp in which they can pick out Leona quite easily, but even then, if one of your better things to like pick is the support, is this draft necessarily great? I'm not so sold on it, but again, we can of course come down to have it come down to where teams are just trying to hand stiff essentially, and we see it all the time. We see it all the time in
Who can push their buttons better?
Yeah,
You know?
in these Emerald Leagues, just playing comps that it essentially comes down to hand diff.
I mean,
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, if you're
if you're
confident you can
confident,
answer, yeah.
if you're confident in your teammates and yourself, I mean, that's always something good, especially in these not lower division, like these middle, not middle, I guess upper middle divisions here, especially. You don't want to be, doubting yourself and your skill in this. So you want to have, the confidence in those hand diffing compositions, right? And I do want to, you were talking about, like, picking the Leona and whatnot. After a certain point, Leona is going to thank you if you're grabbing her, right? Because you're just setting her up for an easy, ultimate, an easy sort of grab with her own, stun there. But that's like, a give and take. Do you get it off in time or do you just get blown up? We see, both these bottom and top lane going, relatively as we expected. Lucian Thresh out pushing the Varus, Leona, and the Orin kind of just being Orin and not taking any damage from the Mundo.
Yes, there's a potential gank in the mid lane here. Hamon Karn pretty low, so nothing gonna come of it, but we'll lose this bot lane scuttle as there's actually an engagement on the bot side here.
A little bit of a back and forth fight we have. Leona seems to be the target as we get one hook. The stun is there, but Xin Zhao's in for another. Looking to grab him. Knock up is there, and Quantum Force meets the Quantum Force. It gets put down. First blood into the pocket of Grimgar.
Hey, again, if your team can get a lead here as Elysium Midnight, you'll take it. Need to get it off early, and they are getting it off early here. 4 minutes. Just before 4 minutes was when that first blood came up, so well played by Elysium Midnight. I thought they might have not had the damage, but Lucian, with the empowered autos from the passive, will do more than enough. As really good pickup here, and honestly, really solid play from Haya. That doesn't get baited to go, as Zed gonna walk his happy self away from the charm there. Just waddling back and forth as the evil man himself, or Vigar pretends to be. This top lane, this is a pretty crazy top lane matchup. They're just CSing.
It's pretty intense. And we say intense right now, but an airborne scent is the Mundo. The Mundo is going to need to have a bit more safety. That healing is there, though. The Pantheon putting in some good damage, and we'll finish up the kill. Hamon getting one back for his boys.
Yeah, his teleport's really late as well. So it's just like you don't have the empowered teleport, so won't be able to find a kill back on Adaro in the top lane here. I would honestly have liked to see Humor try to trade 1-for-1 rather than try and flash away. But opts not to, and does go down for that. Decent look, though, at the very least, coming out of Iceborn White. They find themselves on the board now as well, after a bit of a early game mistake happening. And bouncing back with a kill onto Hamon Karn, which, honestly, you'll take. To be honest, the Fed Pantheon can be quite scary, especially for how squishy this Elysium Midnight comp is.
I was actually about to ask about that, because you see this sort of, dive, in a way. This Pantheon Mundo combo, right? It's definitely unique, because Pantheon has a pretty easy way to get in there with that Grand Starfall, whereas Mundo kind of just walks. How exactly does that pairing go in the late game? Like, is it Mundo just walking in, soaking a ton of damage, and then what exactly happens? Hex Flash used, actually. Well, wait on that. Hex Flash used. Leona's looking to chase down, but Lucian will get the dash away. Be safe for now, but the cage is down. Thresh looking pretty calm.
All right, something I need to point out here before I lose this point. Grimgar does not have cleanse into Leona Varus, Pantheon, Vigar, so that could be a very big potential thing in the later stages of the game. I just noticed that.
Yeah,
so
barrier.
Yeah, it has barrier, so just wanted to point that out there, that no cleanse available here, which is a bit interesting. I would definitely have liked to have seen the cleanse, but nice poke here from NBK. It's also going to be the Airy Ari here instead of the Electrocute, which I don't mind in this matchup. But to talk about your point a little bit here, right? Like, the biggest thing if you're going to front to back is Mundo is just going to soak a lot of damage. Like, unless Mundo can get kited out here, which I guess he kind of can, right? Lucian's pretty good at kiting. Ari's fantastic at kiting. But it's also, like, if you look at Midnight's comp, it's such a go-in comp
Yeah.
that Mundo should be able to just be happy to just sit there and soak damage for his backline. It is poke Vars this game as well. So, like, they are going to have quite a bit of range to utilize here as well for themselves. And you can build Edge of Night here quite easily on Koopa to prevent like getting picked out from like a charm or a hook, which is even more added value to playing Lethality Varus here. I also think with the changes to his base armor, it kind of makes Lethality a bit more favorable as actually Spear Rush in.
Charm is good, and now you're going to be dead as Charms right there. Quantum Force goes down again. MBK, though, looking for some more. The Orn Horn comes out, and he knocks up two. Another Charm gets in, another stun gets put down, and the Vigar will meet the same fate as his brother. Come on, though, in a lot of danger, getting knocked airborne. Elysium is not messing around. They hook the Varus, too. That barrier is only going to stall for so long. Koopa gonna meet the same fate as his boys as he falls down, killing spree for Dubby.
Yeah, and NBK with a fantastic roam up here. A four-man squad of Elysium Midnight. And again, hey, their comp is all about winning early and winning harder and Quantum Force. They get it started early off, right? This is kind of the problem about supports, unfortunately, in the meta right now. You aren't level 6 by like 8 minutes around the scrub spawn timer, and yeah, just really well played. Flash Charm by MBK also lands onto Zed, and there's just nothing for them to do here, right? Like, they just don't necessarily have the damage or the set pieces anymore after losing both their support and their mid laner so early on. Also, like, they need to kind of scale a little bit harder, right? Like, Vigar's not necessarily the best early game. Lethality Varus, right? Has to rated Dirk, but not going to be able to put out as much DPS there as you would have liked. So they definitely need to chill a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to try and give away like free objectives, but dying for an objective like that into
Especially
the
when
comp
it's
of Elysium Midnight, you know, like not a good look.
when it's 4 people too. That's brutal. It was not. That's not what you want to see at all in that situation. I mean, Mundo was on bot side, and I feel like correct me if I'm wrong here, but Mundo does a lot more than the Vigar and the Varus do at this point in the game.
Oh yeah, well, Mundo for sure.
By a lot. It's just like, I understand Vigar's got that really good cage, but Mundo was on the other side of the map, who I think would be, if that fight was Mundo was there, would be really good. A little brawl in the mid lane, MBK getting that charm, Zed avoiding the next one. Make sure he's safe for now. Some good poke back and forth. But, you know, Mundo being there, I think makes that fight completely different, but he wasn't. And they decided to take that fight anyway, which made left him for such a brutal result. So now we have a bit of a respite. Elysium has a lead. You know, it's about 2k, give or take 2.2. Where exactly are we going with this? Are we trying to keep pushing this edge, as we do have a bit of an engagement in the mid lane? The charm is there. We have Thresh here, but the hook, the death sentence will miss this time. Not able to get it. Where do we go from here of Elysium?
Well, you just pulled Vigar Flash. Excuse me. You just pulled the Vigar Flash as soon as you asked me that question. So why don't we try to kill the Vigar? Row is complete for the Vigar now. It's not going to be tier Vigar, at least not right now. But buying it this late seems a little too hard. So I imagine it's not going to be Seraphs, which is interesting comparatively to the comp of Midnight. I think Seraphs here would not be bad, but opting not to go that. Still, if you're like Iceborn White here, I think realistically, try to punish the solution who doesn't have cleanse. Like, you have so much CC.
Yeah.
And him not having cleanse is actually such a big factor. But you do need to wait a little bit here for your damage to come across. And if you're Midnight here, right? Just look to keep pressing your lead forward, whether it be in mid because Zed has no flash, or just playing around just objective stacking. Like, that is a very big win, and we've seen time and time again teams that can get like 3 Drakes to themselves early. They essentially just run over the game at that point because they force the enemy team into unfavorable position.
Speaking
Humor.
of unfavorable, Orn is in position that is unfavorable to him, but he gets a knock up onto Zed. He's got a bit of shielding. He's got the pull in from the Thresh, but will fall down. Haman takes him down, but will fall in
charm?
the same. The charm is big, though, from the Ahri, and the chase is on to Zed. Zed will fall, and BK getting it.
And really well played from Midnight here. Game is starting to get out of hand for Iceborn White, as it's pick after pick now for Elysium Midnight. They find their second dragon here, and they've had every objective so far in this match. Three grubs, 2 drakes. They're doing quite well for themselves. NBK also putting on a very good showing on this Ahri. Also, Duddy Brains on Zenzao 4-0-2, missing out on 1 kill participation. But this is what I really like to see, right? When you're playing like these like Ahri comps, I really like seeing the Ahri and the jungler get active together. And that's kind of a mistake that some teams like don't realize, is that they don't choose. But Grand Starfall used in the top lane.
Grand Starfall lands down. We're looking to put down Orn. Can we do it? You get some good damage onto Humor, though. He's slowed down. He can only buy himself some more time. Daro takes one for himself.
Yeah, quick and easy one. Quick and easy. But hey, you'll take those, right? You kind of need these kind of plays. As
that's a clean, easy. You using the semi-global you got. I mean,
yeah.
Is that a full global or semi-global?
No, that's semi-global.
Right? Right,
yeah, if it was full global, man, that would be crazy.
If that was full global, that would be way more broken than I remember it being. But it looks like we're trying to get active on the globe. By that in the bot lane, grabbing on to the Lucian. We're using that CC you were talking about and putting him down. No cleanse means you won't be cleansed from this. But the Lantern was good, but not enough to save him. Vigar gets the shutdown, and we do have a bit of a brawl in this bot lane. And BK, though, getting that same CC treatment. And that treatment may be too much, but it looks like there's some good damage, but he will fall down eventually to the Vigar. But a return kill. Humor has shown up and taken down the Koopa. We're looking at Zed, though. Zed is fighting, trying to save himself, trying to get a kill on the return, but a double kill going to the Orn. Looks like Elysium will get a win off of what looked like a pretty big loss.
Yeah, Elysium find a slight advantage here. I mean, it's an even trade, so technically, if you're looking at it from the game frame, but like, look at this, right? If Grimgar just has cleanse, he can play the game here, and it might go like even more favorable. Yeah, it's even more favorable. But Guardian and the Thresh Lantern shield there, buy some so much time actually. But yeah, they have so much CC, even on just these 3 members. No Pantheon involved in this play, but Humor comes down here. Horns picks up a kill, and then also finds the kill onto Zed. Zed played this pretty well, though. Unfortunately, it does not pick up the high kill, but as Iceborn White, right, when you're behind, I think trading even is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. But ideally, you wanted to convert that Lucian kill a bit earlier, so you could get out. But you take what you can get when you're behind, as Herald now started.
Talking about behind, we're trying to get active. We're trying to get more done. Thresh is feeling behind right now, feeling the pain as this Mundo's looking to put some damage in. We're going where we please, and what we please is sending Thresh into the dirt. Get some more damage on to WW will fall right after. But we're on the chase looking for this Lucian. We talked about no cleanse. Means you can't cleanse that. Double kill going to the Mundo. And Ice is trying to turn this around.
Yeah, Ice turning it around. They find a really nice play on the top side. They get the shutdown on Duddy Brains here on the top side. Grimgar, again, getting punished for no cleanse here. Opts for that barrier, which, I mean, hey, it did technically help him out in the bot lane there. Bought him a lot of time, but still, no cleanse is going to be such a big highlight here for this match, I feel like. Also, we got to see the strength of Mundo. Like, no one's killing Mundo at this point.
Yeah, he kind of just ran it down.
He literally just ran down Haya. He just ran down Duddy Brains in his own jungle. Nothing he can do about it. But well played from Iceborn White to bounce back here. Something again, right? I think they tried to be a little bit too active, which just allowed Midnight to kind of get this lead that they have or had. You know, they're down in gold now, but bouncing back. They also have scaling on Vigar, so they're doing quite well. I would imagine this is going to be Rabbit on second Vigar here, which not too pressed about. So And we can actually see, right, Koopa on this poke Varus is already starting to do quite a bit of damage for the Qs now. Doesn't even have the mana immune completed just yet. So, gonna start chunking out the squishier members of Midnight in the future.
Look at this grouping in the mid lane right now. You see that Ari is towards the bot side, but everybody, pretty much, except for this Mundo, is towards mid. And it looks like that's because we want to use this Rift Herald to get active. Ari still on the bot side. We're getting in on the mid, and we're going to try and get this mid T1. Good damage onto it, but that Rift Herald will fall down right after. Only a little bit of poke on that tower.
Yeah, just some poke. They kind of used it a bit early here. Can't really use it to try and get back on the river, as it will be the first potential 5v5.
Big knock up there onto the Leona, and 5v5 means a 4v5 now, and the charm is off the mark, though. Ari being able to hop out, not using the Thresh Lantern to do so, but that was a good pick on the Leona there. We talked about that before, potentially being a problem, but this time it wasn't. The charm is good onto the Pantheon, but the hook is not. Not able to catch him that time, but this time we get the stun on the Lucian, who walked up by himself. Some good poke is there, but Zed puts a ton of damage into NBK, and NBK gets popped by Zed. 1 for 1.
Well, they find another kill. They're going to lose their mid tower. Also, Daro in the top lane. Yeah, I mean, they lost 2 towers here, though. Like, tier 2, and also Grand Starfall being used top to try and pick off Humor, as he's forced to flash.
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
We're okay. We're okay.
We're all right. But yeah, you losing 2 towers for your first dragon of the game is quite awful. You know, I said potential 5v5 there because I thought maybe Daro would potentially TP, but opts to stay on the top side. They sacrifice their Leona. They find a kill back. They get 2 towers out of it, and they lose the Drake. But honestly, you will 100% take that if you're Iceborn White here. That is so much gold in your pocket on top of Zed getting a kill here. Like, yeah, watch this. Just like, so much damage. Like, he just dies. Yeah, he just dies. Just dies. 3 abilities, and she just dies, so... Vygar already, yeah, working towards Rabadons. That's a pre-Rabadons Vygar, by the way.
Bro's got 1 item and a pair of boots. He's got shoes. Like, he's got an item and shoes. What? That is insane that he just, like, absolutely eviscerated her like that. But, you know, it's just this... now we're getting to that point. You discussed it before, the late game, the scaling that they have with this Vygar, this poke Varus. Right? We've gotten to that point, and we had that turnaround, that big fight on the bot side that kind of swapped the game's momentum. And now we have a sort of impasse, right? The Mundo was on that split push before, but now that we have, you know, less of an option to do so, are we looking to send Mundo in for these team fights, or are we looking to, you know, keep him on this angle by himself and send somebody down to deal with him?
Well, I mean, definitely you want to bring him into some team fights at this point, right? Like, your team is so strong. They're probably going to try and wait for Vygar or Rabadons before they try anything, like, major. Because obviously, right, like, that's such a big spike. But I think not utilizing your Mundo to be this, like, bullet sponge, essentially, just straight up eat all of the damage, would be kind of a bit of a mistake here. I think in this scenario, where he got the tier 2 top, right, that's more than acceptable. Because by the time he would have TP'd in, play was probably going to be dead. So I think it was a fine play. But in the future, I'd really like to see this Mundo join, because we talked about it in a draft, right? Like, this Elysium Midnight squad, I don't know if they have the damage to kill Mundo, and that's getting harder, like, every single second. Like, he's gaining more HP. Like, he's building more items to, like, give him more HP. This Mundo is looking quite scary at the moment. 3-0-2, 2 items completed, hard steal.
I don't see any grievous wounds on the side of... Unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, no grievous wounds, but they... Like, the problem about building grievous wounds is it slows down your normal build path so hard, yeah.
I feel like it's
NBK!
Like Mundo. Oh, NBK, natural born killer, more like natural born killed right there. Damn, he got popped.
Yeah, bye-bye. Back to base.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, still, the thing is, like, this Iceborn White squad also has so much pick potential, right? Like, they have Varus, they have Leona, they have Pantheon. If you're caught out like this with no vision, that was very greedy to walk that way. Like, if he could have just easily walked past his blue buff. As teleport coming in, They are going to drop this.
But Leona gets dropped, and by dropped, I mean put down into the dirt. Quantum Force joins the Force right there.
He stole. He got it though.
Yeah, it was secured. Atacon was secured by Ice, but Ice also gets another kill that is secured against them. Shut down is the Pantheon. But we're looking to shut down the engagement. We get the death sentence, and that death sentence ends with a period right there. Vigar gets put down. It looks like we're trying to get something else. Maybe this dive here. We're looking to set it up onto this Varus. This Varus is in danger. Koopa gonna have to survive for a little bit longer, but he will get a kill on Haya. And we're looking for MBK, a good damage, but we're not gonna just sack ourselves for this. We don't want to fall down. Mundo's coming to protect our boy, so we're gonna live to tell the tale.
Okay, so I need to point out something. So they lose 2 towers on the bot side here. They lost the Atacon because of, honestly, like, I don't want to say that he stole this because they initially started it, but realistically, Haman really basically stole this.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the hands of Elysium.
Yeah, like this is a really good play here from Haman to find this kill. So yeah, really nice smite, 1195 there. But still, I would have really liked to see Daro be here. Like, yeah, you got 2 towers, but your team's starting the Atacon, and of course, like, Elysium's going to respond here. So I don't necessarily understand the decision-making of a completely unkillable player on your squad to not be here for, like, any fight so far. Yeah. And then he TP's in, and then he opts the TP in so late, which is what's so head-scratching to me, right? Like, he doesn't have teleport for this Drake fight, which is about to start, potentially. Will be soul point. Looks like they're just completely gone. Like, this is completely gone, yeah. No fight at all.
Ice does get it this time. It's their first Drake. Looks like Mundo is trying to walk in, trying to walk somebody down, but the Grand Starfall lands somebody down, and we're going. Trying to chase down the Xin Zhao. But everybody's trying to slip away right now. That turret goes down to the mid lane, and it looks like the fight will be disengaged. I mean, I do agree with your point with Daro. I mean, he got 2 turrets, which, you know, is nice, but you're unkillable. Where are we?
Yeah, need to find, like, team fight up as there will be a disconnect, waiting for the pause potentially here. As they're not pausing just yet.
He's there.
Oh yeah, he's back. He's back. Okay. Just a minor pause. Anyways, but yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, right, is they have gotten so much standing gold, right? So it's not like Daro's been doing completely nothing. But we just saw there, right? Like, he basically full tanked an entire culling and didn't even take, like, 300 damage, 400 damage. Like, his health bar basically didn't change.
I mean, he might have taken that, yeah. But it you know, came back.
Yeah, well, yeah. Also, Warmogs, right? Like, bro, he can just walk away.
That is such a Mundo moment right there. I mean, that is. He's got a PhD in healing it back up. You know, going where he pleases. That's his PhD. It is a. Man, right now we're in. Ice has such a commanding position in this game that I feel like they're. I mean, I don't know if you agree here, but I feel like they're misusing. Right? They have the potential, especially with this Mundo. Like, Mundo shows up to a fight, and all of a sudden Elysium cannot do anything. How are you killing this Mundo? You're not, but it looks like Mundo doesn't need to be here for this because we're looking for the engage on the Xin Zhao, and Xin Zhao will get the lantern out, but it's not enough to get away from Haman. Haman will take down the Xin Zhao, but we're on the chase. Leona grabs one. The cage is there, but is it enough to save them? It will be this time.
Well, they find a pick, and just like that, we were talking about pick comps, and Elysium getting caught in this one, as will be the Baron here as a reward for killing the jungler of Elysium. As Iceborn, you know, I did say earlier that it was getting out of hand for them, but more so, I suppose it was getting out of hand for Midnight. Just all a big bait, you know. Get some shutdowns, and then you just claim those shutdowns, and then take over the game from that point on. Yeah, the biggest problem here, I think, for Midnight, right, is they're playing, like, they played a Lucian Thresh lane, and Lucian, you know, wants to try and dominate the lane, but really didn't have that impact besides, like, getting that early kill. Even has been getting punished for not having cleanse as well, which is such a big factor here for them that I really think maybe, like, I don't think cleanse fixes it, right? I think part of their problem is their draft. As though they are stacking in the bush trying to find somebody, but they might find a curious Quantum Force. Never mind.
We'll walk away. so they're not going to look for the kill here. We do see, you talked about the delayed build from the Grievous Wounds here. Looks like 2 players are going into this Grievous Wounds anyway. So, from behind, they still feel like it's valuable enough. The hook will be off the mark, though. No finishing off. No getting a grab there. But the Grievous Wounds, how much does it slow down the build to the point where you're concerned about it?
I mean,
Oh, scratch that. That cage. Oh, no, it's not. Mundo is taking quite a bit of damage, but it looks like he's healing it all back up real quick. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we get a kill onto the Ahri, and we're looking for the Thresh, but the Thresh will be able to slip away for now. This this inhib on the mid is under threat right now, but looks like we'll slowly take it down because Mundo is literally just doing whatever the hell he wants.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever the hell he wants is blood right now. Thresh gets put down. The Grand Starfall there to show them that we're here. We're trying to put you down and you will fall. Next to fall will be Humor, but Humor will be able to slip away. Quantum Force getting low here and bonk! Gets hit with that Forge God right there, and that is looks like what is going to be the beginning of the end just now. I say that as Humor stunned.
Oh my
Pop
goodness,
goes
dead.
the Lucian. And we're looking to put Humor back into the base because this Nexus is going to fall.
Well, Mundo proves to be unkillable, and that's basically all she wrote for Elysium Midnight. If you're going to play this style of comp, you have to be aware. You have to be aware of the comp that you're going to play into. And Iceborn White, after a shaky early game, convert this one after they basically just full on, once they got the lead, it was over from that point. They just kept winning. And I talked about the win harder comp of Elysium Midnight, but it kind of looked like the lose harder, the lose harder comp as Iceborn White with a phenomenal game there and a phenomenal showcase. Back to the drawing board for Midnight here. I think they need to find a better draft.
I agree. But, this time, because this is a fearless draft, we will not be seeing any of those champions in the next game. But we're going to have to wait for that next game as we get everything ready. So don't go anywhere too far. Maybe get yourself a snack and join us back in a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Dub.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Titan Esports League. Not a Valve game, Aussie. We've already got the draft for you here. Rapid fire this time around. Like we said before, Elysium is using one of their reserves, so they do forfeit a ban. This time around, though, Ice is getting the first pick. Gwen banned away.
Yeah, red side priority here. A lot of amateur teams prioritizing red side, but that's pretty atypical. So, again, I think I always find it like just interesting the differences in draft between like the pro scene and the scene here, right? Like, still like red side priorities kind of existed for amateur for a very long time, regardless of just how bad red side drafts realistically are. But it just comes down to comfort here. As speaking of comfort, a lot of good things taken away from last game. The Xin Zhao, the Ahri gone, right? Like those are the big things. Like Pantheon gone as well.
This Annie ban is really surprising to me. What exactly is going on with this?
Annie is very popular right now, very strong as well. They did quite a bit of changes to her a couple patches back, as she just looked pretty good since those changes. A lot more burst in her kit now, as we've seen her professionally quite a few times. Jen, pretty standard pick, I would say. Very good at just being kind of a utility guy, playing long range. Sivir's going to be the answer into the Gen, though. And a little bit of my Sivir hatred might potentially come out here as...
Jarvan is going to pair with it, though. What exactly does the Sivir... Why do you not like this Sivir? Is it just the short range she has comparatively to a lot of the others? Or is it just... the champ doesn't feel too good right now?
I mean, Sivir, I feel like is in a good state. It's so hard to draft Sivir, in my opinion, because you have to play it so incredibly well. You have to space so well. Like, you have to farm really well, right? Like, you are a champion that takes a bit longer to get online, even though she's a crit champion. Realistically, she kind of does need those like 3 item spikes to like really get going comparatively to something like the Gen. But the Nocturne or Orianna here, very standard pairing here. Little submarine combo. As Syndra will be the answer. Little submarine combo going on. MBK gonna get the Syndra matchup into the Orianna. As overall, I think this draft from Elysium is a bit better than it was last game, at least, answering into what Ice was picking. But even then, I'm just so scared for the Sivir. Like, you're forced to play Sivir into a matchup like against Ori, against Nocturne. That's just so scary. But J4 is going to get a lot of value here. There's no mobility on the side of Iceborn so far. So I'm a big fan of the J4 in this draft. I also think Rakan is a fantastic pickup as well. Although maybe a little too early on the Rakan pick. Definitely some things they could have picked up that are still available. But it will be the Poppy answer into the Rakan. As I imagine this would be Poppy support.
I would think so. Well, that confirms it.
Yeah.
Because Sion is not going down there. That also fits into the style that Dara was playing last game, in a way. That more split pushy style. Set will be what pairs into the Sion there. That matchup is a lot more brutal than the one that was up there last time. At least in my eyes. They like to hit each other.
Yeah, they're gonna hit each other for sure. Also, right, like, Set is kind of interesting here because Sion does go in. You can just throw him out, or if the Nocturne goes in, you can throw the Nocturne out, right? And 9 times out of 10, the Nocturne's gonna have ball on him. As we are gonna be loading up into game number 2 here in just a second. Between these two teams.
What exactly? The Poppy here. That's the interesting point. I know Rakan's got that dash, got that, a couple of different movement spells that allow the Poppy can block. Jarvan Ultimate doesn't get blocked by Poppy, right? right?
Nope, it's unstoppable.
Okay.
The cage goes down.
The cage must go
The
down.
cage goes down.
As we're trying to get in the game here, but it seems like the game doesn't want us to get into it. Little technical difficulties. We are trying to load into the game real quick.
Yeah,
There we go.
we
Oh,
are.
we're here.
We're
We're not
back.
here.
We're
here.
sort of back. Yeah,
We
we're
are
sort of back.
It's you know, sometimes these things have issues. It's all right.
Yeah,
But
man.
now we're here. Look at this grouping here. Darrow looking to try and get on this Jarvan. Are we going to get a little bit more aggression? The flag comes down but doesn't hit anybody. Thumbs up. Showing you I hit that, definitely. A little bit of poke from the Syndra. But now, we talked about a bit of this top lane matchup. It's going to be brutal, going to be brawly. But is there a particular advantage in any of these lanes here? Or is it just, you know, even all around?
Well, I think realistically, Set can get an advantage into the Scion early. I also think NBK has quite a lot of kill potential. I mean, there's a lot of kill potential post 6 for both mid laners here. NBK opting for the Aerie again is interesting. I honestly would have preferred the Electrocute this game, but opts for the Aerie. Grimgar does have barrier this game. Obviously, I don't think Cleanse that's that great, so just to point that out as overall we're getting into the lane phase here. I think something they can do as Midnight here is just you just look for timings on Cataclysm. You don't try to overforce into like the paranoia. You need to just find angles because the side of ice is so immobile. All 5 champs could get locked in here and have no out besides maybe Poppy if she's able to charge someone outside of the ring. And I guess Nocturne could like paranoia dash out of it, but realistically that's not going to be a real play.
That's a very interesting use of the ultimate, for sure. If you're using that paranoia to slip out of that cage. I mean, right here, you don't have any means to... you're flashing out if you're getting caged. That's really what it is. It looks like we do have a bit of bullying in the top side. Darrow taking a bit of pain from this humor set. But it looks like it's going to be even out. These lanes pushing in a bit hard. But, you know, I don't expect Darrow to, you know, fall down too easily. Because we saw this last time, too, with the Mundo into the Ornn. Whereas this time it's much more brawly. Last time it was much more no-die. You know, it was,
Yeah.
Neither of them really are going to fall down because Mundo just heals forever and Ornn is Ornn. But
Yeah.
I want to talk about this Syndra and Orianna. Both of them are, you know, CC combo-esque sort of mid laners. Which one do you feel like goes better into their respective team comp, and why?
I like Syndra a bit more, just for the sake that, like, Syndra can use the Scatter of the Weak, to prevent, like, any kind of engage, right? Like, obviously you can't, like, knock Nocturne out of his, like, ultimate dash.
A double view of the top lane. Sorry.
Yeah, big stuff happened in the top lane here, but I think, right, like, the Scatter of the Weak could be so strong in certain drafts. Obviously, it's not like the most perfect case scenario here, as a potential lane gank on the top side.
Super awkward for the Scion now, but it looks like Humor's trying to get in. Pull in is there. Jarvan gets the knock up, and Darrow needs some help here. Knocked into the air, but will get the flash away and will be safe this time. No kill just yet.
This is really gonna hurt him though. Like his wave is shoving into the set. He's forced to back here. And this is more than feasible here for Humor if he so chooses.
Sucks.
Yeah, this is a very rough, like forced back here, and it's a really good play from Duddy, to put Sion into this position. And now Sion has to walk up here, no flash.
Yeah, this is dangerous right now because the knockup is there again. He has to walk up. He's got no choice. The slowdown is there. The channel is there as well, but he gets put down. Now he's in passive. Now he's got the pain. He puts the pain into the Jarvan, but can he keep up? He will keep up. Another hit is there, and Dara will put him down for the same fate he put him through. So there is a return there. Syndra TP'd.
Yeah, and Syndra TPing there is a choice. Honestly, a choice you can make in this game called League of Legends, but they find a 1-for-1 there, which is very phenomenal for Darrow. Obviously, Wave is in such a bad spot, though. 14 CS down now. Like, this wave state is not getting
This
any
is
better.
miserable.
Yeah, like, it's a very rough here. Now, the biggest thing for him is that Humor hasn't taken a reset yet, which is good for him, right? Because he has, like, item advantage realistically, but Humor just still brawling, does not care. Gonna punch away.
Some
At
good
Daro.
damage back and forth between them. But at this point, you see that's all pushed in. What do you do as Daro here? You just try to shove the wave into his tower, right? Like that's what you got to try and do so that it resets towards you? Or are you trying to just poke him out? Like what exactly are you trying to do here to prevent this?
Well, here you need to try and get a crash, surely. Like, Humor still looking for this. Like, has almost no HP, but still looking to take this. As, yeah, you really want... As, actually, Humor...
Humor. A lot of damage going his way, but Daro's got that shield
Oh,
now.
level
So
6,
Humor
though.
put it up. Level 6 is there for
Oh.
Humor, and Daro doesn't want to get too close. That channel was there from the Decimating Smash. The slowdown will be there, but Humor grabs him. Humor will grab him again. Doesn't even need to use that ultimate because Daro falls, but the Orianna, speaking of ultimates, will pull in one, but will not finish the Syndra. The Flash will be burned.
Yeah, the Flash is going to be burned. Also, NBK struggling a little bit, but Humor finds another kill in the top lane. This time a solo kill. Solo Bolo playing the level up timer so well, so well. Just barely picks up level 6 there to keep himself in that. And still, this wave state, is in such a terrible spot still for Daro. But yeah, just bang. Takes that down real quick, but there is an engage in the bottom screen there. In bot,
like a bit of an engage right now on the bot side. Meanwhile, top lane has a bit of damage going his way, but Haya is taking quite a bit of damage, and Koopa taking even more damage. Grimgar gets rooted, but Grimgar used that spell shield. Grimgar taking a bit more. He needs another shield for spells because Daro is taking even more damage, getting camped up in this top lane. Means he's gonna fall down real quick. Bot lane will be safe for now, but top lane will not be. We're trying to take down Humor. We're trying to catch up to him. Daro gets some good damage down, but Nocturne's here to try to finish him off. He'll grab him with some good damage, hitting level 6 himself. And there'll be a 1-for-1 this time, but we gotta do something here. Nocturne's gotta save this wave state, right? We gotta push it in.
I'm surprised Nocturne hasn't been here already to save it. Like, Daro, I was scared Daro wasn't even gonna hit level 6 right there.
Yeah, I was too.
It's just such a complete disaster for Iceborn White here in the top side that, I mean, honestly, kind of could have been prevented, right? Like, as a jungler, you have like some control. You could have very easily just covered Daro off so he doesn't get re-ganked like that when his wave state's in such a like unplayable position. Because look at this, like, CS, like he's down 2 times the amount of CS right at this point. But they are gonna go in on Humor.
Looks like CS won't matter when we got him in the dark. Some good damage going on his head, but it's not enough good damage. Humor falls, but at the same time, Quantum will meet a fate worse. And that is a put down with that cage. It looks like top side there's a bit of a back and forth, while on bot side there's a bit of a back and forth. Grimgar using that spell shield to prevent the root from coming out, and Koopa's trying to back away. But top side there's still a bit of an engagement. Zed's trying to steal away those grubs, but it won't be enough. And Jarvan will secure it.
Yep, they find themselves 2 grubs here. Iceborn White did pick up 1, but at the very least, it is not a full objective game where basically one team is giving up every single jungle objective. So there is some back and forth here. Grimgar doing quite well on the Sivir into this gen so far. Up 13 CS. And yeah, honestly, like the biggest difference here is the CS leads are so massive. Grimgar does get rooted up.
Is there, and we have the curtain call. We're calling to put you in the curtain, but no, we will not finish him off this time. We hit 2, but we don't hit the other 2. That is, Grimgar able to save himself there, but the flash was burned. Again, this wave state's awful. Look at the top side.
Yeah, like Daro cannot catch a break on his wave state. Humor, it is gonna shove back in finally. Like, it does have quite a bit of minions here you can catch, but yeah, realistically, when Daro is in those positions where his wave state is in such a bad spot, I'd really want to see like Haman Karn, like at the very least, do something for his top laner or do something for his team. Obviously, Paranoia not off cooldown yet, but even still, right? I'd really like to see him like make a play around bot side or just do something so that way, at the very least, Daro isn't forced to play this like really awful wave state while you're not doing anything to help him out. As Humor just gonna get some trading back and forth. Daro doing a bit better in the lane now. Scion scaling champ himself thanks
I'm
to his
curious.
passive.
I'm curious what he's maxing first. Is it just the Q or?
Yeah,
is
it's
he
probably
maxing
Q.
the W? I know it changed throughout time. It was the E at one point, then it was the W, then it was the Q, and then it was, it's changed throughout time. I assume it's the Q, but judging by the damage numbers and how little that health shield was. But now we're at the state. See, Daro's kind of being put through the dirt. We see put through the dirt is one way to put it, as we're looking to stop this Nocturne from going anywhere. We don't have the cage to put down on him, but we have it for Orianna. We go on to the Syndra, but Syndra flashes away to make sure Zed falls. Nocturne trying to make something happen, but Nocturne will be the thing that is happening. Daro gets a solo kill on the top side, but it doesn't matter because in the mid lane, we get a double kill.
Daro finds a solo kill off of his own TP, so it did back into TP on the top side, but that play from Elysium was so well played. I'm not going to find the grand entrance knock up there, but solo kill here in the replay. As, yeah, just Humor completely disrespecting Daro's coming back here.
You disrespected the onslaught and got slammed.
Yeah, you just like completely disrespect Scion coming back from the TP, but Elysium going to find their first Drake of this series, which is something to note. So far, I still would say like Elysium in a pretty good spot here. The fact that somehow Set is now losing this matchup is diabolical to say the least. Like, it's such a big lead, just purely off of like wave state manipulation. That the fact is dropped because you're just overstaying in the lane like this is not a good look. But NBK on the board, 1-0 and 2 on the Syndra. That was a really phenomenal flash away from the Paranoia. Didn't panic as a Quantum Force looking mid.
Looking to put some damage into NBK, but it's not enough damage. And we got the Rakan coming in, but the knockup is there to respond to the Rakan. But the Rakan trying to set things up, but won't get anything out of it.
Zed completely misses the shockwave there. Maybe thought the ball wasn't on Poppy. I don't know what really happened there, but no keeper's verdict, no shockwave is kind of important moving forward. Obviously, nothing spawning up yet, so those buttons will come back, but still a bit of some dead time on those things. Scatter the Weak, just used for some minion damage there, I suppose, but a lot of pressure being applied in the mid lane, and like kind of both of these games, right? Like both supports have been to this mid lane quite a bit in both games. So looking to help their mid laners out, get ahead in any way possible. It will be the Seraphs on the Orianna though here, Valve. Paranoia.
Like, right now, there's a Paranoia popped, but it's just that. I don't know if that was just he thought there was something going on and just wasn't anything. But he was trying to get active and just couldn't find anything right there. It was like Daro's putting some more hurt into Humor. Because, this bot lane, you can see how Koopa and Quantum want to get something done, but Grimgar is just playing so far back. They can't really they don't want to just dive tower just yet. They need their jungler here for that. They need something. And Nocturne did literally just seconds ago just burnt the Paranoia. So, not doing that. But we see what's going on, what's doing, and that's top lane. We're doing Daro. We're knocking him up. We're putting him down. We're trying to put him down, slamming him down. But Daro's on the run. Daro's trying to get out of the way. Daro gets that shield up. But it's to buy time. It's to slow down time. We're trying to make sure Orianna gets some damage off, but the flash is good. The Nocturne is good, trying to put some more damage into NBK. And NBK, natural born killer, looking naturally born to be killed right there. Scion gets the shutdown. Another kill going to Zed. Humor falls right after. And Buddy, Dubby, gone.
Why did I say that Elysium's playing so well? They're trying to kill a Scion when they have no damage to kill Scion. Like, look at this. He lives for so long, and he was up, like, they've been fighting him for so long, even before this replay started. Shockwave is decent on a Duddy, does a lot of damage. Nice flash away as well to avoid the knockup, but just this response from Iceborn White is so good. I cannot fathom why we're trying to kill like a Scion at this point in the game with what your items are. Like, you just have no items for it. I know they're trying to play for this Herald, but it's just such a bad play. Like, it's just not worth it for Elysium here to try and kill a Scion. It's not like this is a Bork set. It's not like J4 is gonna do a lot of damage to Dara as a stage. Like, look at Dara's items. Obviously, could have finished some of these. Like, could have finished Boots or this Hallowed Radiance, or like on that back, but still. They had like almost no damage, and he was CC'd for quite a while. They used both, or they used only the set ultimate there, and it's just not enough. It's just not enough damage, and kind of the problem, right? Like, J4 could get usage anywhere else on the map, right? You don't need to kill Scion. Scion's still gonna do Scion things. Like, we've seen a very notable player in Baus, right? Like, he dies so frequently on the champ, and yet he still wins games. Why are we mind controlled to try and kill Scion here? Is actually, speaking of killing Scion,
We're getting some good damage, but Humor's taking some more damage, trying to kill Scion, but we don't want to die in the process. But in the mid lane still, there might be some aggression. Humor getting aggressed on, but we'll be able to walk away. This Drake will be spawning in about 10 seconds, give or take, but Poppy's trying to make sure that he's the one getting some more oppression right now. Haya, trying to say Haya to this, to the Nocturne who's getting in. I looked a little goofy right there, but Zed gets the kill on the Syndra. We're looking at Haya, and we'll say Baya, putting him down. Looks like a big win for Ice.
Koopa pressed flash in the mid lane there for no reason, but outside of that, very solid pickup here for Iceborn White. As yeah, honestly, like, again, they just seem so uncoordinated here. Like, look at Duddy. He's just like, Keeper's verdicted out. Paranoia, they just all go on NBK. NBK has like literally no help because there's no frontline left. And it's just a complete wash for Elysium here. As somehow Iceborn White, after a pretty bad early game, bounce back, find themselves in the lead now. Herald started.
Looks like a bit of a skirmish back and forth. Humor wants to get some damage on the Quantum, but Daro's in. We get the secure by Haman. But the big fight is here now, and Elysium is looking to come back into this. There's a 3-man cage by the Jarvan that is huge. NBK putting in the numbers, putting in the big numbers. Double kill for NBK. Natural born killer
Grimgar.
is what he is and what
He's
he
still
will
alive.
be. Grimgar is barely living, barely limping away from this, but a triple kill for NBK.
That is the strength of Cataclysm. Look at their comp. They're so immobile. Just simply utilize what's good in your comp. Punish them. Grimgar was able to do so much damage there in that fight, despite not picking up any kills. Also, NBK. Just, I really want to focus here, right? Like, they do try to go for the steal initially, but just look at how beautiful this Cataclysm's about to be. Like, he's going to come out of this, and just look, the Cataclysm locks in 3, also into the set W. Shockwave is pretty mid as well, doesn't really do much, only hits Humor and Haya there. NBK is just doing so much damage inside the Cataclysm. Also, Grimgar
living here is criminal.
Yeah, Grimgar being able to live here is wild. And it's I kind of caster curse Iceborn White, talking about them, taking the lead in the game. And now Elysium find a way to bounce back, as they're more than happy to take that fight. Even though they lost the Herald, as actually, I feel like this is a dead
down
Jin.
from the set. We're going in, and we get the Jin right there. And BK getting another one for himself, but the Orianna ultimate does dissuade any more aggression.
Also, like, this Ori build is so safe. It's like such low damage as well, that she's not like having those like impactful mid game plays where she just pops some squishy, right? Like, NBK got full comboed there and didn't get popped, right? Like, very, very low damage build coming out of the Orianna so far. I mean, obviously, right, like, gonna build the Leandry, so it's not gonna be like the worst thing in the world, but excellent pickup though on the mid lane there onto Koopa. Just completely overextended into the set. Disrespects him. Does fall down.
First item that I can't tell. What is that first item that Scion has?
That is Hollowed Radiance.
Oh,
Little
okay.
MR Sunfire item, yeah.
I couldn't tell. All right.
Watch that. When he kills the wave, it just like pops, does some damage. So it's really good for wave clear.
Yeah, it sounds pretty
Really good for wave clear and also gives you MR. So,
I mean, into the Syndra, that's great.
yeah, it's very good for Syndra. But realistically here, I think Grimgar's having such a free time. Like, look how much like CS he's up. Almost 53, or 55 at this point.
Rift Herald
Getting
was
closer
popped
to
in
that.
mid lane, though.
Yeah, they wasted Rift Herald, I think.
Does Rift Herald have a timer, right?
It does have a
humor.
timer.
Humor me this right now. We're taking a lot of damage, and we're taking too much damage. Darrow is kind of just slamming us. We'll slam him back down into the ground, but do we have enough? Humor is very, very low here. Thumbs up and pop down. Darrow puts him out.
Yo, the
Was that a
preemptive
flash during the ultimate?
No, it was not. It was not. It was his W. He W popped and then flashed out. Or like flashed in with W pop. He gave the preemptive W because he knew he was getting the or like preemptive thumbs up because he knew he was getting the kill, which is pretty funny. So well played by Dara to find another solo kill in the top side, or I guess in the bot lane, but in the top lane matchup, as I'm in a weird spot, but able to dash away, as Rakan does. Very slippery champion, this Rakan. Tower does go down in bot lane though, at the very least. As Atacon is spawned on the top side, so that is the next objective, as it is looking to get started here, Valve.
I mean, right now, there's nobody here to really contest this Atacon just yet, but it looks like they're trying to posture for it. You see this Rakan clearing out these wards right now, trying to walk in. This is about half health now. You see, Jarvan's on the way, but Quantum Force wants to force you into that wall. Good damage. Haya gets that root towards him, but double knocked airborne. Now it's the curtain call, and we're calling your demise right here. One shot, two shot, putting in the third one, but we're putting you in the box. A Cataclysm comes down, but Poppy secures that Atacon, and now Jhin barely gets to walk away.
Jhin barely walks away here, but this is just a complete macro failure, I feel like, from Elysium here. They have, like, no tempo whatsoever. As, just not enough damage coming in. The shielding for Boreana and also the barrier, 46 HP as well on the Atacon. Just very heartbreaking for Duddy, but Koopa being able to live just barely through through the barrier and also the Orianna shield. Just a heartbreak here for Elysium, but as a nice little bug happening right there for the blue trinket, which is kind of funny. But Drake started up here now, Valve.
Looks like they're starting the Drake, but they're not looking to finish the Drake. They're looking to finish off Elysium right now. Sion won't get the knockup, but they're looking for a bit of an engage. The engage comes from the Rakan, and we're getting a lot of engage here. NBK takes down the Jhin already, but we're on the chase. We're looking for more. We slam down the Sion, gets another hit. Big hit. Hamaz, though. Haman taking a lot of damage, but it's not too much. It is too much. He will fall down eventually. And it looks like Elysium actually able to fight back.
Yeah, able to fight back. Some fail flashes there. Zed only hits the shockwave onto NBK. Which, again, right, like, not really doing the most damage on the Orianna at the moment, thanks to the items. Which I don't necessarily think it's a bad build this game, right? You don't want to get picked out in, like, J4K. You want to give yourself a fighting chance, but you're not going to have, like, that Orianna burst that you typically see out of, like, a Luden Shadow Flame or something like that coming out of the Orianna in this match. Somehow, it's a back-and-forth game despite what seems like disaster after disaster for both teams. Haya now, curtain called
Disaster. That's kind of rough.
You know, I mean, it is just curtain call. Nothing's really spawning, so not a bad usage. Baron obviously coming up here in 45 seconds, but I don't think either team are going to be able to pull this one on spawn, as it's just too close. And also, right, like, the Cipher 006, farming really well, but has kind of not been able to pick up any kills. But does have 2 items now. One more item will basically seal the deal, and she's going to start doing so much damage in the fights. So need to keep an eye on that timer in particular, as NBK, very fed on the Cinder as well, working towards the 3rd item himself. Crypt Bloom pick up instead of the Void Staff, which is a bit interesting. Usually, Void Staff is the way.
So interesting.
I mean, usually Void Staff is the way, right? More damage is better, but the ability haste not necessarily too bad this game. as also is Pen second, right? Like Blackfire Torch into Pen is interesting, but I suppose if you're going to be the one laning into the Scion, you won't mind it, as Humor finding Quantum Force just sitting in this top try. Not really anything to be done here, Valve. I'm just waiting on essentially the next dragon, as we are in that time period as just bouncing back waves.
Well, what is the benefit here? Do you think there's a team that benefits more? Because Elysium does have a small lead in gold, right? It's about 2K. I think 2K flat, give or take. 2K and like a little bit of pocket change. Who benefits more from just sitting here right now with this farming? I know you said the Scions with the scaling, but is there a team that scales a bit better than the other?
I mean, Syndra and Sivir are more than happy to just sit here and farm, right? Like ever since Syndra got a rework, she scales a bit better. And she's not necessarily like that early game tyrant. She's still pretty good in the mid game, but definitely more on the scaling side after her rework. But Sivir more particularly, right? She really likes these kind of games. We've seen time and time again in pro play where Sivir is in a match, she hits like 500 CS and she just wins the game. So Nexus explode at like Sivir 500 CS. So
automatically it just happens.
Yeah,
Good
it just
damage
happened.
by the Syndra here, but we have the paranoia, and you should be paranoid about your demise right here. NBK falls right after. Rakan dashing out.
Oh!
There is a catch on to Grimgor, and there's only one thing that was, and that was Grim right there. We're looking to siege down this mid T1.
Yeah, phenomenal pickup here from Iceborn White. They catch NBK and Grimgar unaware. More so Grimgar catching a Scion to the right, like to the jaw. As yeah, just a little walk too forward. Yeah, you just walk too forward here on NBK. Really nice showcase of the Shockwave Paranoia combo. As yeah, just look at this, no counterplay.
I mean, my man literally just came from the side and full body tackled him. I mean, what do you do there as a carry, as an AD carry? I mean, you just get folded like a
This
lawn
will be
chair.
Baron. This will be Baron, by the way, as Duddy does die, is dead for 30 some seconds here. They take it kind of slow though, so they did TP to try and save their mid tier 3, as they do finally pick up the Baron here. Humor will probably, I don't even know why I'm saying probably. He should die here. Zed forced to use the Shockwave. And yeah, that will be a kill. Easy peasy. They do find the mid tier 3 tower though, at the very least, so. But if you're really looking at it, you do have teleport on Humor, but still is gonna be a little late to the dragon, if like at least for like fighting river control. But Baron for Iceborn White is the biggest pickup and thing to note here. These towers should just start falling left and right. As Sivir did push out that bot lane, so maybe bot tower will live, but they will definitely get this mid tower and probably the top tower as well with this Baron. So we call that one a successful Baron at the very least here for Iceborn.
If you're Elysium now, okay, Iceborn just kind of flattened us in that fight, right? And I think that's in part because of how split they were in the start. And then Scion literally just had the freest, oh, your carry's wide open. Your AD carry's wide open. I'm going to fold them, right? We say that, and now we're looking to get folded as the Scion. That shield is huge, though, and we will be unstoppable with that ultimate. So the Scion ultimate was forced, which is a big engage tool, a big, chase tool right there, and that was burned. But it looks like a teleport is coming out from Elysium here to try to get something done. The set teleports behind them. They're trying to do a pincer right now, but they interrupt on the
Koopa.
Ultimate. Koopa was too busy looking through the scopes and will get punched down a couple of times. It's more than 4 damage right there. NBK finishes up the kill. Quantum Force is in danger right now, but the Jarvan takes down another. Grimgar takes down the last, and it's almost a full wipe. Sion's the only one left, and I don't think Sion's making it out of this one alive. He might be able to take down one, but it's going to be a big ask. Grimgar's coming back in, and that's the big damage you have here. The CC, the lockdown, the stun, goes down a full wipe for Elysium.
Elysium find a team fight win desperately when needed. They do lose the dragon, so it is soul point for Iceborn White, but Baron off the cards now, as mid inhibitor looking to be potentially forced out here. As Grimgar is low though, so does need to be a bit mindful. They should just be able to get this and walk this one away. But Elysium find a team fight win when they needed it most. And I was a little hesitant about these TPs. I was like, maybe this is a little too late, but Koopa just does not care about Sion or Zed just beating him to death. But NBK picks up this kill really easy. Yeah, and Grimgar also living, right? Like, the fact this fight is so split for them and it still goes as well is also, like, something to mention. Is if they can kind of, like, stay, like, split up and, like, have their carries not just both get engaged on very easily and go down, they can win team fights pretty easily. Because Sivir's going to start doing a lot of that damage. NBK also scaling up as well. So, for Iceborn White, they have got to respect the damage coming out from Elysium at this point. Koopa cannot just sit there in curtain call until he dies to set, basically.
Pounded by that.
Like, the fact they didn't know the teleport came through there is actually crazy. Like, it literally looked like Koopa had zero clue. So maybe just some miscommunication about that or something, but as Elysium, you're happy, honestly. As Elysium, you're happy with that outcome, for sure.
Right there, I feel like as you mentioned the split fight, right? But I feel like Elysium wanted that. All they had to do was just, okay, we need to keep Grimgar alive until the boys can come in, right? Because they're the only person who's a threat to NBK in that situation is Koopa. And Koopa got instantly folded like a lawn chair. I mean, because of the way they came into that fight, it was just the two TPs that came from behind. And that was just such an easy way to engage that fight. And Sion came in late because he had to, back from the top lane and then TP in from that. But so now the momentum, I will say that the Ice still has kind of the momentum. I say that as the fight comes out, the paranoia is popped, but can be nearsighted to see everybody in the Cataclysm. Nocturne falls. Jarvan will not fall in the same way because he'll live for so long. Grimgar taking down another. Grimgar looking for one more, but Zed will pick up one in the return. We're looking to chase down this Orianna. Orianna will get the TP away. We'll be safe for now. But Darrow in a lot of danger. Darrow will get slammed into the dirt. Grimgar picking up another one. Triple kill for him. Make sure we don't get another kill onto the Sion, though. Sion does hurt right now, but he will not finish up one. And it is Zed versus all of Elysium except for the support. 4v1. And a super minion. Zed takes too much damage. Zed gets popped up. Ace. Quadra kill for Grimgar as the base will fall.
It does fall down the tower there, but it should be easily the game here. Yeah, it should be easily the game. It's Quantum Force versus Hamon, but they have so much damage here. As should be the game. Yep, will be the game here for Elysium. They bounce back, making the series 1-1. And just a phenomenal play there at the end to really turn it around. Basically, the game was really, really back and forth. And then they got that Drake play. That Drake play gave them essentially all the tempo they needed. Grimgar on the Sivir. I was apprehensive about it, as I usually am about Sivir, but played this game quite well. Also, to point out, I think Haya didn't find those crazy Ragon engages that you're used to. But even without the crazy Rakan engages, right? Like, Haya still found impact keeping Grimgar alive. Understood the assignment. You don't necessarily need to be like the flashy Rakan play. Sometimes you got to do the boring stuff. Peel your AD carry, It's also really, really, really hard to necessarily get the Rakan engages into the Poppy, but he made it work for himself, and Grimgar also. Phenomenal Sivir game here. Died only once, and that was basically not his fault. He just got blindsided by a literal train of Sion.
He did get hit by a freight train. There's only so much you can do in that situation. Getting hit by a freight train does in fact hurt. But what will not hurt is you sticking around for a little bit longer. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with this phenomenal set that's been going on here. Ice versus Elysium. We'll be back soon. Welcome back once again. We're going to finish out this set here. Elysium versus Ice. Once more, not a Valve game, Aussie. And as we said before, this is a fearless draft, so any picks previously picked before can no longer be played. Elysium also using one of their reserves, so they have forfeited a ban to do so. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to, see the same bans.
Yeah, I would suspect bans will stay the same here. Annie's staying the same as well. So, yeah, honestly, I think both teams probably just gonna ban away what they've been banning away. So far, that seems to hold true for both squads at the moment. We'll have to see if Elysium want to surprise us at all, but honestly, bans are typically staying the same for basically every team at this point, as it is the fiddle ban. So it does confirm our suspicions about the ban staying the same, at least for Elysium. As I really want to see Iceborn. I want to see Iceborn have an early, a stronger earlier game draft where they can get things going early and just never let off the gas pedal as Rise banned away. And it will be Wukong. So I did talk about getting things done early. Maybe this is the way.
Elysium is going to look to do that this time around. We'll see if Ice can respond in kind. Buy is one way to do so. I mean, a little early action, a little bit of a bit of an isolation, a bit of aggression. We'll see what they pair it with, though. Expect them to grab a support, or you expect them to grab something else?
I mean, it's gonna be Smolder. Smolder, man, this champ. Oh, Smolder. What could have been? But been receiving quite a few buffs in recent patches. Is in a decent spot. Will be the Jinx response here from Elysium. Technically, Smolder is flexible, so I don't want to say this is going for sure to Koopa, but I'd say it's likely to go to Koopa, as they picked Vi for Iceborn, so will be the Braum Jinx here. Honestly, very strong comp from Elysium Midnight so far. This top three is pretty strong. Rumble gonna be the response. I mean, it's good with Vi. It's very good with Vi.
Yeah.
So not too pressed with that. If this is not Smolder mid, I'd like to see something to really give something Vi to play off of.
What comes to mind?
Honestly, what's left? Ari's gone, Ori's gone, Syndra's gone. Maybe Victor. Victor's not necessarily the best case scenario, but it is something. You could maybe even play Silas. Silas doesn't really have great ults at the moment. You could have even maybe forced Galio. I think Galio would have been fantastic, but they did ban it away.
Talia.
Talia's not bad. That's a good shout. Talia's actually, she did get nerfed, but it's a pretty minor nerf in my opinion. So I'd really like to see maybe Talia come out here, as it will be Maokai support or top lane. Well, it has to be support. There's no way Darrow, I just don't see this going top. It just has to be support. There's no way they're playing Rumble mid. This has to be support. Will be the Mel pick up for NBK, as looks like we still, again, Smolder's still flexible here, right? Still some flexibility, as Cassante will be the answer into the Rumble. I have seen that plenty of times in the past. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it goes not so well for the Cassante. It just kind of comes down to whether or not Rumble. And Talia, right, that was a fantastic shout from you. I kind of discounted her a little bit because she got nerfed.
My thought process regarding it was, realistically, you have the lockdown from Vi, and you can complement that with even more CC with Talia. And then with the Maokai, you got even more CC. I mean, you just got all this CC now, which I feel calls back more so to game one, with all the CC that was there, man. I just feel that it is this sort of lockdown. We find somebody and we're locking them down and they're dying. That's what we're doing here. I mean, you even got a little bit of mobility with this Talia as well. But I gotta ask, which comp do you like more?
Hard one here, because I think it comes down to execution for either squad. I think Elysium Midnight have a more straightforward comp. Just front to back, right? Their comp is really good at front to backing. And they, Iceborn really needs Smolder to, get online, or the Rumble to be ahead, to, really start doing a lot of things in the team fights. But I think I think I'm gonna give the edge to Midnight. I think it's just barely an edge. But I do like their comp a little bit better here. I think also, like, they picked Maokai into Braum, which is not necessarily great for Maokai, because once you W in, you're basically, like, it's so hard for you to get out. As we are loading up onto the Rift Valve in just a second.
We got a bit of time to yammer.
Oh, yeah, we got some time. Yeah, excuse me. Thought we were going into the game, but overall, I think both of these comps, right, are strong enough to where either one can win. I'm a little apprehensive about the Maokai support here, though, which is... It's just hit or miss, right? Like, and especially into something like the Braum, it can miss very hard. So I'm just scared. And also Elysium, they have the arcane. They have the arcane champ lead. They have 2 arcane champs to 1. So
You're so right on that. Holy, they've got 2 arcane champs. How does Elysium lose this? I mean, realistically, right? You can't. You've got the more arcane champions. Your champions technically have made more money, right? I guess.
yeah,
Because I mean, you could possibly add up the skins, but how much money has that show made? You know, God,
Yeah.
we are yammering about the most pointless garbage right now. I actually do want to ask about. You mentioned the Cassante versus the Rumble matchup. It
Right.
sometimes goes well and sometimes doesn't. What exactly do you mean there? Is it the Cassante kind of just loses, or is it the Rumble that has a hard time? What exactly goes on?
well, the thing is, like, Rumble is such a lane bully. Also, Rumble's gotten nerfed a billion times as well, and it still doesn't seem to matter. But the biggest thing, right, is it comes down to the execution on Rumble to, like, win the lane. Because he can win the lane. You just need to time your overheat really well, get a really solid trade with your overheat. There's a lot of, like, micro things you need to do it as Rumble to win the lane, whereas Cassante is just Cassante, right? Like, if the Rumble does mess up, you're playing Cassante, right? You have such an easier time of execution to respond that this is why it's, like, can be so back and forth, where especially, like, if Rumble does get behind in the matchup, he just never has control of the lane ever again, because he's never going to kill Cassante from behind, right?
Yeah.
So there's typically some jungle presence stuff that can go on there. Wukong going to be looking to probably play for 6. I'm a little preemptive caution about, like, some of the level 6 junglers, right? We saw Nocturne in the last game really not make resounding impact in that match. Wukong obviously I think is a bit better in, like, providing impact in fights, right? Cyclone is such a big ability, but even then, if Ice can get going early with, like, this Vitalia, right, that's guaranteed, especially post 6, as we are finally going to be loading up into the draft here, or into the game, excuse me, between Elysium Midnight and Iceborn White, as, oh, dude, we're using, you know, nice little pretty wings on Koopa's skin there, but, and it's going to be Green Smite from Vi. I'm not a fan of that.
What exactly? So, I am not too versed in the differentiations of all of the smites. I know the blue smite and all that stuff, right? But the green smite, what does it provide that you feel like the Vi doesn't benefit from? That you know, you're not too much of a fan.
I mean, the thing is, it's like you just get the move speed, right? It offsets, like, some of your move speed slow from your Q, like on the Vault Breaker. It also just helps you get to places faster, later in the game, right? But I've seen so many junglers, like, itemizing green or red for, like, kind of 0. Like, their champ might not even be great at using them either, but I just don't understand the thought process. But they are going to check their top side here. No vision coming out just yet, from either squad into the enemy junglers. So no junglers going to be found out in this match. Looks like they're going to go on opposite sides of this match, which a bit of a difference in this series, as they've kind of not really had too much in the way of interaction.
Yeah, they really haven't. You mentioned, like, the lackluster mitigation that green smite has for the Vi. I mean, I understand the point of, okay, I move slower, so let me move faster while I'm doing this thing, right? I get that. But I do understand where you're coming from, right? Because how big of a deal is that? You know, because you as a player for years have been compensating for that with the Vi. I'm assuming you're a versed jungler. I mean, you're playing in this division. This isn't like the slump division, right? I believe the peak of this is Diamond 4. So you're at least, you know how to push your buttons. It is, you at least know how to push your buttons to some extent. I mean, you're used to Vi moving slow when you do that thing. So the mitigation is only so much. But you see now the Cassante Rumble matchup. This is the Rumble trying to lane bully but getting bullied himself. The Talia Mel matchup. Now this is a matchup I know absolutely nothing about. What exactly goes on here?
Well, as per usual of Talia, she kind of is gonna need to wait for like some kind of mana item. It's very hard for her to get like really anything going for her until she gets her first like mana item realistically, whether it be tier, which is the most common thing, or if it's just like Lost Chapter if you're opting to just rush Blackfire Torch. So it's kind of malfavored in the sense of just waiting on Talia to get mana, because her mana costs are pretty unforgiving in the early game, where is CSing quite well though with the auto attacks. Also does have a bit of priority here. NBK kind of forcing him to shove in his lane here just a little bit, so looks like they're happy to keep the lane dead even in the middle of the lane, but top lane gank.
Speaking of dead, Humor is looking pretty dead right now, but a good airborne knock up there. Daro not able to finish the kill. And it looks like it wasn't enough for the Vi to, you know, come in there and finish up a kill, but that ward back there is actually going to see the potential for this dive, but it looks like Vi isn't going to go any further. Looking not to get too active here. Humor is a bit too tanky and it's a bit too early for this dive.
Yeah, does have flash as well, so Haman Karn did opt to Vault Breaker flash in there to try and like maybe cheese out a kill onto Humor before he could get away, but don't really have the damage. Overheat was not there for Rumble either, so maybe just a bit mistimed, but still, they trade even on the scuttles, and junglers are going to go back to full clearing. They do find a little ward here onto the Gromp at the very least. Nice seismic shove from Zed to find a good poke onto NBK in the mid lane, but they will see Wukong on the Gromp as actually going to be going towards his top lane.
Looks like there's a bit of a fight in the bot lane at the same time, but it looks like we're getting a bit more active on the top side. Some good damage into the Rumble, and you're concerned about this Rumble getting behind, and we're looking to put him behind. We're looking to put him down. The shield is good, but not good enough. First blood going to Dubby.
Yeah, red buff finishes off the kill there. Humor not necessarily needing to flash, but they find first blood, and I talked about it, right? When Rumble does get behind, it's so hard for him to get control of the lane again. As really well played from Duddy on that reset. And the fact that it was on a ward is even crazier, right? Like, they actually saw him on the ward that Haman Karn placed. And still, Daro dies there. They will lose the first Drake for that, but you're still going to be happy with that because you're putting the Rumble behind. In a matchup where, like, as soon as Rumble does get behind, realistically, Cassante should never die to him ever, so you'll take that for sure for Elysium. It also gives a kill over to Duddy, which on Wukong, right? I have seen Wukong's completely carry games. Both junglers working towards level 6 as well, so we should start seeing a far more activity out of both of them as soon as that comes online.
Do you expect a particular jungler to gravitate towards a specific lane? I know Wukong started by going topside, but do you expect him to keep returning there, or do you expect him to head towards bot to try to get this Jinx ahead? Because we know how Jinx goes, right? You get towards that late game and she just starts killing literally everybody. Or is there, not really a particular spot? You're just looking for the opportunity when it comes up.
If I'm a betting man based on what's happened in the series, I'd say they're going to prioritize mid. Both supports have been here like in the lanes so often that probably mid is like if I'm betting, I think realistically they should look to maybe punish out like the Maokai support for the side of like Elysium. Just try to punish out Maokai. Because it's not like he can get away. It's also Aftershock Maokai instead of Phase Rush, so there's even less get out potential for him if he ever does go in. but I do like this potential play. They are setting up.
A good push back, but Grimgar is not going to fall down that easily. Koopa taking quite a bit of damage, but nothing will come of it just yet. Looks like Zed's on the way down with the Vi in tail. They're trying to get aggressive here, but this is a bit of an awkward pathing right now. Zed is, floating right now, but the Talia is trying to cut them off, and we'll cut them both off, but there's a small gap in the way of the wall, which means everybody will slip out. But the flash is burned from the Braum.
Yeah, and Jinx also, Jinx had to flash the seismic shove as well, so they do pull flashes at the very least, but honestly, could have been a better wall. Just they could have actually just walked through if they wanted to, but still, they do find 2 flashes, so overall a positive play here for Iceborn White is Humor now having fun as All Out coming through, actually.
A lot of damage going in and a lot of damage getting put in. A lot of dents in the machine. Darrow falls to Humor.
Yeah, and just that's a crazy that is a crazy solo kill find from Humor. As,
I didn't think that would happen, by the way. That was absolutely wild.
Yeah, like this All Out is just so well played. So well played from Humor. Just a crazy game, like crazy like find to find the All Out over the wall, and just showcasing what Cassante does best. As unfortunately, for Darrow is 0-2-0 on the Rumble now. So talked about not having control as Koopa should be okay, just flies away. As Hamon card actually here, no flash on Grimgar or Haya.
No flash means there's going to be a bit of a flash, but the block with the Braum is good to secure some damage, some safety from that damage. But will it be enough? Vi is on the chase, trying to hunt them down, but the exhaust will slow her down. Maokai, though, with the flash in, trying to root down one. Braum will fall, and Jinx will follow right after. 2 fallen, 2 ice.
Yep, they find themselves some kills back now. A little disrespectful of where Hamon was going to be. Thanks to them not having flashes and being a little low there, but still I think Elysium's in a decent spot in this match. The Cassante is really taking over this top lane now, as we saw with the solo kill. I'd like to see Duddy start to get active though. On this like Wukong. We kind of talked about like the J4 last game. Of J4 not really like getting active in that match when he definitely could have. This is also a game I'd really like to see some kind of like activity. Really press your like advantages here. Like again, I think Maokai's really pickable in this draft, and so far they haven't been able to punish it at all.
I mean, yeah, where is he going if he gets caught out? Bro's literally a tree. Where is he going? But on a serious note, it is kind of a point to, play for. Because what movement does Maokai have to stop himself from getting caught out like that? It's just, Braum slows him down, then you knock him up as soon as you hit 6 here. Right? He is still not 6, though. Maokai did hit 6, but Braum is not. Some good damage going in the mid lane. A little jukes out, a little avoiding. But it looks like they're trying to set up. Elysium is trying to set up for something, but there really is not much to come of it just yet. A lot of posturing around this mid lane. Like you said before, these mid laners are kind of just the focal point.
Yeah, a lot of posturing around mid lane. Cease and desist is about to come up as well. So not even going to like punish timing on that.
Oh,
here
Zed. I was going to say Zed getting engaged on, but no. It is
actually
the Vi. But the Wukong ultimate is off the mark. Maokai will send in the vines, but nobody's going to get rooted out just yet. We'll call in our mother to get some more damage down. Smolder does, and will claim a kill for himself. Koopa getting one to his pocket, but Jinx is here trying to put some more damage into Vi. Vi will fall down to NBK, and Smolder's going to get caught out here. There's too much damage. Pulling in 2, pushing away 2, but it's too much. Mel picks up some more.
Well, Cassante saves that play for Elysium here, as this was a very big mistake, I feel like. Also, something to note, right? Like, is the level 6 on Haya, right? Does not have the ultimate available because he's level 5. Yeah. So he just dies. Like, there's nothing he can do about this. He just dies. But Here comes Humor, savior of the day. And watch this W. Gonna hit. It just hits. Like, it just doesn't matter, right? Like, Cassante is just so strong at this moment, like, at this point in the game, because he hyper-accelerated, right? And also, it's not like your comp's great, but there's a gank in the bot side.
Little gank in the bot side here, getting active on the Maokai, like we said before, but Grimgar is getting active on. Bit too much damage as we pick up one, but Braum is the target again. We talked about him. He's 6 finally this time, but it looks like we're going to be saying bye-bye. Nobody's got your 6 this time. Hiya, bye-ya, later.
Yeah, Duddy might be able to find a kill on a Quantum. Never mind, doesn't even have Cyclone available. So Quantum able to walk this one away. And again, it's a shocking play in the bot side here for Elysium where they're just too far forward and get picked out. Completely disrespectful of being able to get ganked like that. And it results in the death. NBK is in danger. Nice reflect, though. Actually, the people in danger.
Yeah,
yeah, like
he
said,
is the danger.
Yeah, you're. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. And he just completely turns that around. Mel doing so much damage. My fault. Kind of caster cursed this entire play for Iceborn.
My fault, though. I didn't know you had that kind of game. Look at that.
Yeah, that is a complete disaster play for Iceborn. NBK with a 1v2 double kill.
I mean, that's just set. That's real flashy right there. We just folded them both, and there's really what do you do? Ice is really kind of getting stuffed everywhere they try to make a turn. I mean, you had a really good engagement towards that mid lane where we put down the Braum, but now this Mel is how do I say this? Absolutely ginormous. What do we do?
Well, you start by trying to pick them out. You picked Vitalia, and so far we've really not gotten usage out of it. So get usage out of it, right? NBK doesn't have flash. Like, that's the thing. If you're going to pick these, like, combos where the mid laner and the jungler need to be playing together, you need to play together. That's, like, number one. Right? NBK has no flash. But also, look at the level difference. NBK is comfortably, like, a level and a half up at this point. As I think Zed should probably hit 10. If he doesn't hit 10 on this wave, it's not good. But he should definitely hit wave here in a few minions. Or 10 in a few minions. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, basically a level and a half lead. As actually Haman finds Haya. Haya's level 6. Speaking of XP, but poor Haya has not had a great game on the Braum this game. Kind of getting bullied a little bit. Also, look, Cassante's just tanking all of the damage. Doesn't even matter. First tower about to go down here, Valve.
Yeah, I mean, right now we are just kind of... I feel like everywhere we turn, I was going to say untouchable, but Humor is taking so much damage right now. Humor trying to take more, put in more, but we get that overheat coming in soon. Too much damage. Humor is doing a lot of damage too. There's nothing going on though. I thought there was going to be a kill there, but both of them just decided to back up. The flash burn by the Rumble.
Yeah, there's a dive bot, potentially.
There we go. The Maokai ultimate comes down. We catch the Braum, and the Braum will burn that ultimate to try to peel out for his boys. The exhaust burn to get even further, but the Wukong is in, and there's a lot of damage. Mel being too much damage. Too much damage comes through. Talia will come in a bit too late and will stop herself from meeting the same demise as her two teammates.
Yes, NBK basically carrying so hard right now. Obviously, right, like we saw when Humor TP'd down to that bot play, that's really what got them like in a strong position. Completely saved the play around that dragon, but just watch this, right? I think Duddy's also plays this pretty well. Finds the flash knockup over the wall there with the Cyclone. But realistically, right, the damage is NBK. Grimgar opting to try to flash for some reason here. Doesn't need to flash here, but NBK so fed on this Mel. So fed. 6-0-1 as Humor still bullying Daro. Like, that is kind of the biggest point of contention here for me. It's like, because Daro got behind early, this Rumble is just so behind. Like, he has no control over the lane. At any point, I feel like Humor can solo kill him here. Like, we even saw him almost solo kill him after taking 80 tower shots on the top side. Like, forces Daro's flash. So, I don't know how Daro can find a way to bounce back here. And it's basically just going to come down to, like, a good equalizer, I suppose, to try and find some kind of lasting impact in the match. As, yeah, you're 0-2-0 in Rumble, not where you want to be. As Koopa...
Oh,
Speaking of not where you want to be, you do not want to be in this position as the dragon.
There's only so much I could say there. Later. We are going to get the dragon here on bot side, but on top side we are getting I believe it's the Rift Herald currently, yeah?
Yeah, it is the Herald. Is the Herald.
I wasn't sure if it was the Grubs or not. I couldn't really tell. I didn't see the Grubs taken before, but I could also just be completely oblivious to that sort of thing. It is the Rift Herald right now, but it looks like there's going to be a bit of contention here from Humor. Humor's in. It looks like Maokai's here to try to slow him down, but Humor can kind of just beat on whoever he wants. We talked about him being very difficult to kill before, but there's some good damage going into him. But the rest of the boys are here. The Maokai ultimate will slow them down, but it looks like Ice will secure it. Good damage going into Humor. Humor will finally fall. Cassante going down, but its Vi will meet the same fate. It's a 2-for-1 in that exchange, but the dragon goes to the pockets of Elysium. Rift Herald goes one way, but I feel like it's worth more for Elysium.
Yep, it is in fact. Look at this, like, Humor is literally 1v3, does not care. Tries to find Hamon here. Does not find Hamon, but takes a lot of damage, right, in return. So Will does eventually fall down here. Equalizer is able to help finish that one off. It's also not necessarily a bad equalizer. Like, if this wasn't this far behind Rumble, there's actually quite a bit of potential that could have been a very big turnaround, but because the Rumble's so far behind, it's so hard on Rumble to, like, really play out until you start getting items at this point. To really start doing, like, that, like, crazy equalizer damage that we've seen in the past. That I fear that Iceborn might be getting a little outplayed here in this match. They still haven't really found an answer for NBK either, which is also a very, very bad thing for them. Like, NBK needs to die. He's 6-0-2, 700 gold shutdown. Yeah. It's 1,000 gold right there. You need it. You need the shutdown. Talia, not even finishing, not even with the Seraphs finished yet. Which, I mean, obviously, right, stacking the tiers, so that'll be finished soon. Working on Pen second this game as well. It's just such a disaster here, but they do have Smolder insurance. That's the saving grace. They have Smolder insurance. You just have to get there, though. And that's hard enough, to be honest, with how the game's going.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we're kind of just in this really awkward spot. Because Rumble really can't be doing much. We gotta just farm up. And look at this. Like, he's just sitting under his T2. What is he supposed to do here? He can't walk up into this Cassante because Cassante's been kind of beating on him, right? Bot side, looks like we're trying to get a bit active, potentially. We see all this posturing, but no. I thought the Talia was just going to ult in and they were going to get aggressive, but no, they were not. But this Cassante, look at the top side. Cassante is literally just doing whatever he wants. What are we supposed to do here?
I mean, you got to force something, right? Because you are just going to bleed out on your top side eventually. Even putting, like, Talia there, right? Like, something has to change because, like, Humor just does not care about Rumble at all.
Who do we put to stall Humor? I mean, like, Rumble is kind of just a NPC to him, you know, because Rumble can't, like, do anything to keep up. What do we do to stall him? Do we keep Rumble there, or do we put somebody else there? Looks like Rift Herald will be used in the mid lane to get some more tower damage, but nothing else other than, you know, good tower poke.
Yeah, this game is looking worse and worse, right? Like, they're using Herald like that just to find some tower damage. I don't know how close Smolder is to stacks either. Like, I don't know how close he is to 225. Like, I would imagine he's getting closer, but, like, he should be pretty close soon. So hopefully we'll be able to pull that up for you soon. As, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can stop Humor in the side lane, right? Like, maybe Zed has to be the one to answer, but do you really want Zed to be in the side lane against Cassante like that? Not really, right? Because you're wasting sort of like the Talia ultimate roam like potential with Weaver's Ball. Like
Yeah.
the threat of that being there. As actually Nature's
Oh, wait.
Grasp and Weaver's Wall.
Weaver's Ball is burned, and so is the Nature's Grasp. But it looks like we're only grasping a bit of a getaway now, but Zed is getting engaged on. The Cassante is here. The Cassante will bring it down, but NBK will take the credit real quick. And that is another kill going to NBK. That bounty getting bigger.
Yep. And that will be Atacon. Almost certainly. They will lose their mid tier 1 for this. If, I would be shocked.
What's NBK doing?
NBK having fun here. Humor is here as well.
Okay, the boys are...
They're not even going Atacon. They're going to try and collapse here in the mid lane, actually.
Huge damage from the entire team, and the Mel pops everybody down. Legendary is what he will be, and legendary he will remain as too much damage comes down. Smolder falls immediately after, and the Dragon will be their next prize.
Yep, Dragon and Atacon on the cards here for Elysium. As this is the Elysium I wanted to see, right? Like, this is what I was here ready for when we came into this match. So dominant here as we do get that replay coming back in here. As, yeah, just overall, just so well played from Elysium. This team fight is just so perfect. They even bait them to go for the mid tower and then just immediately turn around, right? They don't start the Atacon. They don't start the Dragon. Hamon also getting very low. Is able to live. But does almost fall down there. As Atacon picked up now. For Elysium. TP in from Daro.
Looks like a bit of a, no engagement just yet, but Daro taking quite a bit of damage. Looks like we're getting a lot of damage into Humor. Humor in a lot of danger right now. He was the danger for a while, but the Smolder ultimate will tag him, but Zed will get the kill for himself. Looks like Haya is taking quite a bit more damage, and we will secure the Drake, but Talia getting himself a double kill. Turning around, Mel's getting herself a double kill. We're getting another one, shutting down the Jinx. But how much damage will it be? Mel will get a triple kill for herself. We cannot kill NBK. He is the natural born killer. He's born of the kills. He makes the kills happen.
Yeah, even though Grimguard fell down there. Also, that Equalizer was kind of poor. Just finished off the Haya kill. This game, I feel like, is just so impossible for Iceborn White. They've backed themselves into this corner now where NBK is completely unanswered. They do find this opening pick onto Humor, right? Humor does take a lot of damage here early, but like the shockwave is just not great, right? Like it doesn't really do anything. Or not shockwave, excuse me, Equalizer. Like the Equalizer really doesn't do anything here, but Daro still showcasing why Rumble's so good. The overheat damage is very high, even though he's this far behind. But NBK still unanswered in this match. If Iceborn are going to come back, they need to answer that question of how do we kill NBK? Because that is still 1,000 gold. Daro now. In a weird spot.
That is... you say it's weird for Daro, but Humor me this, and that's your death right there. He tried to be a funny guy. Fortunately, it doesn't look too funny for his team. Yeah,
it doesn't look, but it should have resulted in basically nothing. I don't think they can do Baron here. They might try it. Honestly, like, you are behind. I'm kind of okay with the desperate play here. If you want to attempt it, so be it. I wonder if, like, I don't know how many stacks Smolder has, like I mentioned, but Smolder might have enough to where he's getting the execute online very shortly, or just so be it. Doesn't have it available yet. They are looking to engage, though.
Ultimate's flying left and right here, but we're looking for one. We're looking to stop them from flying away, but there's a lot of damage. Mel needs to go down. Wukong will fall, but Mel takes down another. Mel is looking for more. Mel is looking for more, but they're getting away. They're trying to slip away. Smolder will slow her down. Some good damage going her way, but can we stop her? It's a bit too much.
Oh my goodness.
Will wall away the boys, but there's a lot of damage. Rumble will fall, taking down one with her. But Talia will fall right after to the Cassante who came in.
Yeah, and I mean, for Iceborn White, that could have been much worse. So they do somehow find a way to find some kills here. Shockwave, what? Or I keep calling it Shockwave. Equalizer. Again, not really that great. Like, there are so many, like, opportunities, I feel like, for Daro to have really great equalizers, but then we're delivered those kind of equalizers, right? And it just could straight up be, like, team fight deciding here. Obviously, he does find the turn on to Haya there to find a kill, but still, right? You need to find good equalizers, right? You need to find a way onto NBK, and so far neither of those things are happening, but they do keep finding humor in this top lane.
Humor needs to stop trying to be so funny. We say that, but Mel is here now, and Mel is the damage she does is not funny, it's painful. Legendary is NBK, and that is, oh boy.
Yeah. TP coming out. It's OP. Also, this is 4-item L. You might as well call it 5-item because of the boot upgrade as well. And it's 28 minutes. 14-0-5. They still don't have an answer to it. I don't even know if Smolder has stacks yet. As, we'll have to see on the next queue here. As, oh! That was very stealable. 197.
It's a lot of damage coming in. NBK takes down another one. Can we put down NBK? It doesn't look like it. We're trying to get some good damage into him, but it is a bit too much in the way of getting to NBK. Rumble getting a bit of CS on the way out. But the boys of Elysium are getting away.
Well, easy Baron for Elysium here. Haya does not get stunned up there by the rocks. Seismic Shove did land, so decent poke, but they still aren't even going to get this bot tower or mid tower. I don't know what Iceborn can do here, right? Like, Smolder does have execute though. That is very important to mention. He does have stacks now, as he's still a baby. He's still a baby in that execute threshold, but as Quantum Force getting caught out potentially, does use that as actually Super Mega Death Rocket picks it up. A phenomenal find from Grimgart there to find our boy Quantum Force on the tree, and this game is looking worse and worse by the minute, Valve, as they are looking to threaten this mid inhib.
Yeah, this is dangerous right now, but there's some good damage going into this Wukong, and Wukong will fall down. But again, we have the big threat here. The Jinx
Oh
is
my
here.
goodness.
We've been talking about this Mel, but the Mel doing damage, the Jinx doing damage. We made it to the late game, and those big numbers keep popping. That is a double kill. Could this be the end of the game?
This could be the game, because this is Jinx resets on towers. This could very easily be the game here. It's just Maokai for so long. I'm confidently going to say that Elysium should win here, as this replay is going to come in. Equalizer is all right. Yeah, the game is just over here. Elysium are going to win the game. As, yeah, there's just nothing that Iceborn White can do.
Had, what, 16 kills that game?
So many kills. NBK.
17, 0, and 7 on that game.
NBK completely pops off. Carries the game. Also, highlight the humor, right? Like, the entire game kicked off where they were kind of behind, right? Besides humor, you know, got into it, but then humor saves the entire game for Elysium from falling out of their hands with a phenomenal TP to that bot lane dragon fight. And they find themselves winning this match 2-1. Well deserved. NBK. Check him PC after that one. That was just a ridiculous game from him. 17-0 and 7 on the Mel. Yeah, look at that damage done. Just look at the damage graph. It is just so disgusting.
I didn't know we
So
allowed
disgusting.
nuclear bombs in our League of Legends Rift. I mean, holy. That is a big number right there. I mean, right there, we had... I feel like there were focal points where, okay, Cassante made so much impact. And then it was just, all right, MBK, your turn.
Yeah.
And then he just took over the game. But you know, that was an interesting set for sure. But we see Elysium come into form and really pop off this time around, off of the back of stellar performances from their boys, and BK in particular going absolutely turbo nuclear that game. But that's gonna be it from me and from my buddy Aussie here. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great night.